Sean O'Neill here with another edition of AMNtv. We're here with Kaz Hirai from Sony. Wonderful presentation today.
Thank you very much, thank you.
PS3 is coming out swinging.
Absolutely, November 17th.
I can't wait. Now, you got some great launch titles here. And Resistance Fall of Man coming out from Sony. That looks like a great title, and it has some online aspects to it. That was a question many gamers had today, and can you maybe go a little bit more into detail about the online gameplay aspects that PlayStation 3 offers?
Well, certainly it depends on which games you're talking about, but for example with Resistance, you're going to be able to have 40 players, count them, 40, simultaneously playing the online version or the online game for Resistance. And we have talked about all the community features, the rankings, all the things that you can do online again with Resistance Fall of Man. And again, depending on which games you're talking about, some of them will have rankings, and depending on how many people that are going to be able to play online at the same time. All different games have different online specs. But the best thing about the PlayStation 3 online network is the fact that we're leaving a lot of that again up to the content creators, so that we give them the maximum flexibility of how they want to have the online aspect of their game being presented on PlayStation 3.
Very good. Now, do you guys have an official name for the PS3 online setup, or are you keeping it nameless?
Well, we call it the PlayStation Network generically, and we loosely call it that. But I think we're not going to come up with some specific brand name for it, mainly because as far as we're concerned, the gamers, it doesn't really matter whether you have content that you get from a disc offline or you're getting something online. It's all about compelling entertainment. So, just like we don't call our disc-based business PlayStation Offline, we don't have a brand name for our network platform.
Very good. Now, one of the things that intrigued me, and it was noted before, is that you're going to be able to download PlayStation 1 games so you can play them on your PSP.
Correct.
But it was also mentioned today that you could later play those possibly on the PS3. Can you go into detail about that?
Sure. What we want to do as phase 2, if you will, of the PlayStation 1 game download is hopefully early next year be able to have the PS1 games that are downloaded onto your PS3 played on your PS3 as well, and not just your PSP.
Great. And is that one download will allow you to play it on both the PSP and PS3, or will you have to buy maybe separate for each system?
Well, again, the business model will depend on which publishers, and they have to make that decision. But from a first-party standpoint, we want to make sure that if you buy, for example, the original Warhawk back from 1995, I think it was, and you're playing on your PSP, that once the functionality to play it on the PS3 comes up, that you're able to, play that without additional charge.
Great. Another thing that intrigued me was the wireless capabilities, allowing you to use your PSP and check in on some of the content for the PlayStation 3. Can you maybe go a little bit more into detail on that and what some ideas you guys might have coming out for the future? Sure.
I think it's a very exciting extension to have the PSP actually mirror the user interface for the PlayStation 3 in a wireless environment, and for you to actually control your PS3 and access some of the digital content you have on your PS3 and enjoy that through your PSP. Also, in the future, we want to make sure that wherever you are, if there's a hotspot and you have a PSP, you can access your PlayStation 3 back at home and enjoy all the entertainment content. So I think that as a natural extension of the PS3, content creators are going to come up with some real creative ways to leverage the fact that you can have the PSP as an extension of your PS3.
Well, one thing we've been seeing a lot lately, or it's kind of been a debate, is downloadable content and charging on that, and companies, the regulations on that. Are you guys going to regulate pricing structure on that, or are you allowing regulate the pricing structure on that, or are you going to allow third parties to kind of choose where they want to put the pricing at?
Well, the pricing for any downloadable content through the PlayStation Store really is up to the third-party publishers to determine. And we're not going to dictate the pricing scheme or the strategy for any of the content from our third-party publishing partners. We obviously will make the decision on first-party products, but nothing on third-party.
Another thing that looks great is some of the games that you can download that are original content games. Now, you have two of them on the floor here today, Flow was one that I loved. You also have David Jaffe's new title that's going to be coming out, which looks great. Can you maybe go a little bit more, like, what are you guys doing to bring smaller publishers in on that, or smaller creators in on that, and expand that end of it?
Well, one of the ways that we want to expand the creative community and really to harness new talent to develop for the PlayStation 3 is actually being reflected in some of the titles that we're offering for download for PlayStation 3, where we're working with smaller development teams, as small as 5 people that have done some of the downloadable games for us, and I think that's going to really allow the smaller groups, the smaller friends, if you will, just get together and if they have some creative ideas, show it to us, and then we can work together with them so that they can realize their creativity in the form of a downloadable game. And obviously, when they come up with additional titles or ideas, there's nothing to stop us or them from thinking about a full-blown Blu-ray version of a game that they're thinking of as well. And
PS2 had the DVD player right in there. A lot of people love that aspect. PS3, of course, is going to have Blu-ray. And the PSP came out, and it was a great multimedia functional device. Is there any lessons that you have learned maybe from the PSP launch and its multimedia functionality that you're going to therefore apply to the PS3? Like maybe something that you guys felt you could have worked on or been stronger on that you're going to improve out the gate, or things that you like that you're going to emulate?
Well, I think one of the most important learnings that we had from the launch of the PlayStation Portable with its multi-functionality is the fact that you need to really be clear in how you're articulating the functionality to all the consumers that are in the market. You can't really try to go out there and say, this does everything, but perhaps, as they say, the proverbial kitchen sink. We want to make sure that, as we did with the PlayStation Portable, make sure that everybody understands that first and foremost, it's a great interactive or gaming platform, first and foremost. But look at all the other things that it can also do that enhances your entertainment experience. But you don't want to go out there and talk about the other functionalities too much, because then you're really confusing the consumers, and you're also confusing the positioning of the product as well.
Well, speaking of consumers, we saw people lining up like crazy to get on the pre-orders, the first pre-orders here for the PS3. And it's going to be a hot item this year. For those gamers who might miss out on the initial shipment, can you give us any details on the secondary shipment and what we'll see through 2006?
Well, what we've said is that from a shipment basis out of our factories, we're going to ship 1 million units by the end of the end of the calendar 2006. And literally, from the day of launch on November 17th, we're literally going to have weekly shipments of PlayStation 3s coming into the market, ultimately adding up to about 1 million units by the end of 2006. Certainly going into next year, we want to make sure that we keep that flow going as well, so that we can get as many PlayStation 3 units into the hands of consumers and have them enjoy the PlayStation 3 experience as quickly as possible.
Well, one of my favorite things about you and covering Sony so far is you seem to have a sense of humor. And we saw it today in the video, the YouTube, and I just wanted to hear what your reaction after E3 coming out of that. Like, what was your reaction to hearing some of this stuff?
Well, it's one of those things where that kind of started to get a life of its own. After it was featured on YouTube, and I get a lot of emails from just fans, talking about that. So I thought a little self-deprecating humor would be good.
We loved it. And can we get one last Ridge Racer from you?
Oh, absolutely. Ridge Racer!
Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure seeing you.
No problem.
That's it, guys. AMNtv. Check out the rest of the Sony coverage with the rest of the crew here. Thanks.